And then you go, oh wow, I've added like 20 kilos to my squat from what I was before. Oh my god, I've got so much stronger. Oh, I'm gonna be like so much better on the field now, right? Maybe not. So for anyone that's interested in sports science, it's really common to want to try and find exercises that have this carryover effect into a given sport. So it's very common to see basketballers doing jump specific training, rugby trainers doing strength training or hypertrophy training, um, maybe boxers doing speed training, which is another issue. But it's very common to want to make sure that the things you're doing in the gym are going to be useful for what you're doing on the field or in the ring or whatever your sport is. So it seems very obvious and completely natural that you want to make sure that the things you're doing in the gym are going to be productive to what you actually are doing in a sport, right? And it is true. And strength training and gaining muscle mass and strength is one of the best things you can do as an athlete, especially if you're, say, rugby player, basketball player, MMA, kickboxer, whatever. So I like to say that hypertrophy training or adding size is actually the most surefire way or the best thing you can possibly do to increase your performance across the board, really. Some people sort of have an aversion to want to gain muscle for some reason. I talked about this in one of my other videos, I think, a little bit. For some reason, they feel that if they gain muscle, it'll make them stiff or tight, stiff, it'll ruin their technique, which may be true for people that already have very large amounts of muscle on their frame that try and then do another sport. That might be true, but if you're already a good athlete and you have refined, sharpened technique, adding muscle is actually going to be extremely beneficial. And I think the amount of muscle that you can gain in a certain period of time is really quite small. So when people say, oh, I don't want to do curls because I don't want my biceps to get too big, it's kind of silly because you're not going to you're not just going to blow up overnight. But with strength training, that's a little bit different, and that's what I want to talk about in this video, because extremely beneficial, obviously getting stronger, yeah? When we're talking about strength training, it's no longer just about muscle groups, because when you're training for hypertrophy, like the bodybuilder thing is, oh, I'm doing back day, back and biceps, or chest and triceps, or something like that, and it's just focusing. I guess people commonly say when you're training for hypertrophy, you're focusing on muscle groups, whereas when you're training for strength, you're focusing on movements. And see, that's a very important distinction, I think. So because with strength training, you're training for movements, the issue of specificity comes in. So now, if you're someone who's like, say you're a rugby player, and you think, I want to get stronger, I'm a front rower, I want to get stronger, I want to be bigger and stronger on the field so I can hit harder, and get hit harder, not get injured, things like this. That's really good. Getting stronger, getting bigger is going to be very beneficial for you. So, how do we do this? Okay, well I can do squats, let's say. So really good at developing all of the lower body, glutes, quads, hamstrings, sort of. That's separate, but yeah, okay. Lots of mechanical tension. Okay, then maybe I go to leg extensions, do some isolation or leg press or something like this, very common. But then what if I maybe don't care about getting bigger? What if I just want to get stronger, right? So maybe you're already kind of like big, or maybe you've already got some muscle, but you just want to become more efficient, right? And you want to be a more efficient mover, and you want to be able to squat more weight, just to be able to squat more weight, just to be able to produce more force with what you've already got. All right. So now this is where the specific strength adaptations come in. So you might start squatting, using that. It's really good movement. You might build a lot of strength. You might increase your squat 1 rep max by a lot, and you might notice, oh, I go on the field, I feel so much better now. I feel so much stronger. My maybe tackles are getting better, which would be very good if you notice that from squatting in the gym. As a rugby player, that would be extremely good. But now, this is where the issue comes in. So, when you're putting kilos on your 1 rep max squat, you're getting better at squatting, right? Obviously. So your squat is getting stronger because the adaptations you're making are specific to the squat. So now anything you do with lower body is probably going to be stronger. So it's probably going to carry over to most things you do with the lower body, right? Okay. But now, see, if you were to take your current higher percentage max of your 1 rep max squat that you do throughout training cycle, and then now you all of a sudden go, okay, you know what, I want to peak my squat. So you do a proper like powerlifting style program where you're just focusing on squatting, doing accumulating lots of volume, accumulating. Then you taper down, you reduce the volume, hit like there's really big weights, do like the doubles, triples, even singles. Then at the peak, taper, and then you try and hit like a proper 1 rep max, like a proper actual like you've been prepping basically for a powerlifting competition, right? And then you go, oh wow, I've added like 20 kilos to my squat from what I was before. Oh my god, I've got so much stronger. Oh, I'm gonna be like so much better on the field now, right? Maybe not, right? Because if you were to train your squat in that way, in that fashion, you're getting so hyper specific on that one movement that the carryover maybe into your sport may sort of diminish a bit, diminishing returns, sort of. So I see it kind of a little bit in like the strength training community or powerlifting community, where people that are into powerlifting, say, or strongman, something like this, they look at maybe rugby players or other athletes, and they go, oh yeah, wow, they're really good athletes, but man, it'd be good if they were stronger, or like, well, you see them training in the gym, like you see a video of like the All Blacks training in the gym, you're like, oh man, those guys are really big and they're really good athletes, but oh man, they're not really squatting that much. They're not really like 150 back squat for a few reps, that's pretty good, but like there are powerlifters like half their weight doing that for like, for the same amount of reps or whatever. So you might see like a huge rugby player, like, oh, he's big, they're meant to be strong, right? Big, strong rugby player, squatting 150 for a few reps. Oh, hang on, there's a guy that's like 65 kilos that's doing the same for like way more reps, and they're powerlifters. I was like, well, hang on a minute, how could these? I thought rugby players were supposed to be like big and strong. Aren't they like meant to be like the biggest, strongest, like most powerful? Now this is the thing, right? First of all, a rugby player can't put as much time into training their squat as a powerlifter can. Powerlifter, the squat is literally 1/3 of their entire sport, whereas a rugby player is just doing the squat to assist them in their sport, right? And the second thing is the amount of benefit that a rugby player would get from going from a 150 squat to like a 170 to like a 190, 200, maybe isn't as much as you think maybe. The amount, like, yes, a 150 squat or 200 is way stronger than 150. But for them, that benefit, it's not really as much. Going from like a 100 kilo to 150 might be huge if that's like where they're starting. But it gets to a certain point where you're going to have to training that movement so specifically. Like you're going to have to be doing like squat and then your accessories for squat that are specific, and then like some isolations, things like this, where it's just going to be gratuitous, right? So that's that video. Fuck me, dude. So guys, thank you for watching this video. Hope you can take something away from this. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. Thanks. I'll see you in the next one.